Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Treasure of Area Zero DLC was pretty neat. I particularly liked Blueberry Academy's Terrarium, or Dome. They split it up into 4 primary biomes and 2 sub-areas and imported Pokemon from all over the world so that their students can study them in their simulated natural environment. But I do gotta wonder, just how natural is it for all of them? Are all of them really in their proper biomes here, or do we gotta make an idiot box? Well, I've gone and made it already. So, ever since maybe Gen 6, but definitely since Gen 8, Game Freak has done a great job at making all of the Pokemon chosen for a region fitting of that region. And not just the new Pokemon who obviously would all fit, but most of the returning Pokemon as well. A long while back, we looked at all of the Pokemon who survived the NatDex controversy with Sword and Shield and found that yeah, there was at least an okay reason for most of the returning Pokemon to be there in Galar, and much more recently, we did the same with Paldea. But this by no means, or biome means, that all of the Pokemon in the Dome's 4 biomes fit perfectly. So, let's take a look and see just how well their chosen Pokemon fit. Starting with what I think is the strictest biome as far as sense-making the Pokemon being there is concerned, the Polar Biome. Looking at all of the Pokemon who live here, it's easy to see that most of them make sense. Many are Ice-type and thus can survive and thrive here, or are based on animals that tend to live in the Arctic or at least colder regions. Seals, penguins, bears, and the like. Milcery is a fun inclusion though, because the cold region is like refrigeration for its body made of cream, and the Reuniclus line actually could fit anywhere, as they have dex entries that state, because their bodies are enveloped in a special liquid, they are fine in any environment, no matter how severe. It even allows it to survive in the vacuum of space, which is cold. Maybe these Pokemon just happen to prefer the cold, like a cold lab. Matang's line, being based on supercomputers, need all the cooling they can get. Maybe those computers being here attracted the Porygon, who, like Reuniclus, survives in many harsh environments. And Rotom is a ghost who can provide its own heat, or cold, depending on its form, thus why it's actually found in all of the biomes. Lumineon and Hisuian Quillfish are already used to the cold waters around Sinnoh, and Golurk and Duraludon just don't care. They are constructs. The Mincenos are chinchillas. Chinchillas? Burr. But like actually burr. A pet chinchilla prefers cooler temperatures. While able to survive freezing, they prefer 50 to 60 degrees, and they actually risk heat stroke at as little as 80 degrees, the poor things. Fire types, of course, provide their own heat, and thus many could easily survive the colder biome. But still, the choices are fun. Scorbunny, for instance. Galar is a colder region already, hence its Evo Raboot wearing an athletic gaiter to help keep it warm while exercising outside. Chimchar is partially inspired by Japanese macaques, those monkeys who famously love hot springs in winter surrounded by snow, so that's perfect. Cyndaquil is a bit loose in terms of reasoning. It is only found in a cave here, potentially pointing to it and its Evo's ratty shrew badger origins. Badgers can live where it's colder and spend most of their time underground. But then Torchic. Huh. Let's add it to the handful of Mon I deem questionable for being here, which also includes Smeargle, the Snubbles, Horsey, Numel, Axew, and Minior. I suppose in being fire-typed, there's no reason Torchic could not be here. It just doesn't have any real reasons to be, beyond balancing the starters across the biomes, I guess. I suppose many meteors and asteroids are often just chunks of ice that melt in the atmosphere, and in Alola, Minior are found atop Mount Hakulani, which is next to the icy mountain area, so would still be cold. Though actually, Minior also are found all over the terrarium. Oh no, I hope they aren't just falling in and putting holes in the glass dome. That tends not to go well. Now, Smeargle is actually found in all 6 locations of the dome, the 4 biomes and the 2 caves, so I suppose they're just traveling all over for art inspiration. Horsey and Seadra too. Well, I don't know about the art, but the traveling, yes. They are found in all of the waters of the dome besides the Savannah Biome, because its water is... it's like a shallow, swampy mud puddle, really. So they're just traveling. The Polar Biome is far too cold for real seahorses, but they've got dragon-type blood, which would make them more susceptible to it, actually? But inner warmth, able to withstand the harshest of environments. Dragons! Numel and Camerupt are fire-type and can provide their own warmth, but I still wouldn't think they'd want to be here. Most folks associate camels with heat and deserts, but actually, folks often forget that deserts also get super cold at night. Camels gotta be heat retainers too, and the camels with two humps, Bactrian camels, are the camels from Mongolia, which is cold, hence them being really fluffy compared to dromedary or Arabian camels. Neat. The Axew line are your classic cave-dwelling dragons, which I suppose often prefer caves high up in mountains, but you'd think all the ice and ice types around would dissuade them from being here. But actually, they are found in the icy cave area of Dreamworld too. Most of their other locations would suggest canyon biome as a better fit, which they are also found in, so I guess some just prefer training in a harsher environment. Or it has to do with the cave that's found under both biomes. Snubbull and Granbull, though? Yeah, no real reason. But they are technically in and near Chargestone Cave, which is an underground cave that goes under the polar and canyon biome. It's sort of a pseudo-fifth biome. There is a sixth one also, but still, why here then? Still, no direct reason. They are timid Pokemon, but nothing about their previous locations in games suggests that they like caves or ice or electricity or crystals. Yep, it's time to utilize a big nope pile. An idiot box? Throw the dogs in. Oh hey, and right next to the box is today's sponsor. Factor takes the hard work out of cooking healthy. Because let's face it, when it comes to healthy food, there's the meal planning and the grocery store planning and the prep work and the cooking fatigue, and it all has to be surrounded by healthy choices. That's hard. So instead, you could get dietitian-approved, chef-made meals delivered right to your door with Factor. Every week they offer 35 ready-to-heat meals, including options for vegans, vegetarians, those who are calorie smart, or my favorite, the keto options. I lost 160 plus pounds on keto over 2 years once.
That's actually genuinely good. Not the kind of thing you'd expect. I even preemptively got the salt out, thinking I was going to need it. Because, you know, health food usually means very little salt. And the salt's supposed to be the thing that makes it tasty, though, but not deep. They know.
And of course, Factor is all flexible. You can change how many you want week to week, or you can even let them choose which ones to send you, so you don't even have to think about it. I get that way sometimes too. I think all day. I don't want to think about food too. Fridge to table in just 2 minutes. Just slip, stab, and toss it in the microwave. Gently. Oh, and don't forget the juice. Honestly, way cheaper than going across the street to the fast food place every day. And healthier too. So I'm going to use Factor to help me achieve my health goals next year, and maybe my 50% off coupon could convince you to try it out too, yeah? With the code Lockstin50, you get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box, and 20% off of your next month of orders. So get it while the going's good, and big thanks to Factor for supporting this channel, and now my lifestyle goals. Let's look at that Sparky Cave now, where we find that, again, the vast majority of the Pokemon here need no explanation. It's a cave, charged up with electricity. There's lots of electric types. Excadrill is perfect too, because Diggy Diggy Mole. Computers are powered by electricity. Minior wandered in to observe the crystals, which are just like its body. But then there's Chespin. Chespin, what is you doing? Why are you here? Like Chespin, you would fit in the canyon, coastal, or savanna biomes better than here. What gives? Well, it does only appear here after you boost the area's biodiversity, so maybe they just got delivered here and haven't found their way out yet. I mean, the dude is a hedgehog chipmunk chestnut guy living in trees and under bushes and in shallow burrows in the ground, not huge electrically charged caverns. But still, 2 out of 6 biomes in and only 2 Pokemon with a big what the heck label on them is pretty good. The canyon biome is pretty mild. Most Pokemon could live here even if they wouldn't prefer it, though its rocky verticality does lead to some traversal issues, but it also leads to ample defensive positions and training areas for flying, rock, ground, and fighting types. Litten too, because while Incineroar is not fighting type, it is a heal wrestler, so has to do similar training. Chinchou is an excellent choice for the waters here, as deep canyons and underground rivers don't get a lot of sunlight. The Nature Preserve Plateau area of the biome is much less rocky, and has some nice trees, bushes, and streams instead, so a wider variety of Mon are specifically found here, and every single one makes sense. Zooming back out to the whole biome, I only have a few questions. Alomomola? The giant sunfish that needs huge swaths of ocean water to survive, shouldn't you be in coastal? Rivers and lakes found in canyon mountain environments are far too fresh and cold for you. I get that the Pokemon world makes no distinction between salt and fresh water. We did a video about that years ago, but still, you'd think such an iconically huge and open ocean fish would prefer open ocean to a tiny cold stream. into the idiot box. Sinisty? I guess in being a ghost, it likes the extra shade all the canyons and boulders provide. Meowstic I also questioned at first, but after looking into it for a second, it makes sense too, I guess. It and Esper's previous locations, like Galar's Dusty Bowl, Route 7, and the Stony Wilderness, all point out that this is its preferred habitat, for reasons I'll have to look into. I should do a Meowstic video soon. Yeah. The coastal biome is as close to Alola-like as you can get here. While not full-on tropical, there are plenty of tropical plants to be found, and many Pokemon who are native and/or are found in Alola too. Looking through the list of Mon found here, there's pretty much nobody that feels out of place. At first I thought maybe Zangoose and Seviper, but no, both species of animals are found in the tropics of Southeast Asia, and they are from Hoenn, which is also very tropical, coastal, watery too. Too much even. But within the coastal biome is the second cave in the Academy, the Torchlit Labyrinth, a rather warm cave with many torches, so again, still pretty Alola-esque. The Mon here also all make sense. Even Blissey. How do you think it hard-boils its eggs? For Mudkip, axolotls like warm water and digging in the mud. They often hang out in small caves and under overhangs, so good stuff. So really, the Gothitelle line is the only real questionable one here. They are astral-projecting psychic-type astrologers in Gothic Lolita fashion. That fashion would be far too warm for this area. Like, best you can say is maybe they prefer caves because they like the dark, but this cave is quite specifically lit. It's in the name. It is lit with hot torches. Quite bright for a cave. And while obviously I cannot confirm it solidly, I imagine it's difficult for them to look at the stars and see the future through them while in there. And that's their whole deal. It's what they do. Definitely an odd choice, Game Freak. The line's previous locations range from forests with clearings to spooky houses, which are perfectly fitting. What is it doing here, Game Freak? Add it to the naughty list? The final biome is the Savannah Biome. Desert plains, dry grasslands, and mud wallows. Quite the variety. Many Pokemon based on iconic African animals are here, as Africa has the most savannas on Earth. Looking through all of the Mon here, there actually aren't any that stand out as definitely wrong, besides one. Bruxish. But before we get to that, there are some that could use a little bit of an explanation. Like Rowlet, you'd think an owl would prefer a forest, but remember, this line of owl Pokemon are based on the burrowing variety of owls, who prefer burrows in the ground due to them living in areas with fewer trees, like grasslands and savannas. Sobble and Totodile chill in the mud flows, and honestly, Mudkip should have been here too. Venonat and Moth really should prefer forests, but there's enough trees here that they get a pass. Same with Rufflet and Braviary. But, yeah, pretty much everyone here is cool. Except Bruxish. Bruxish is definitely, like, weird, just in general, but also in it being here. Like, the coastal biome is right there, over that tiny wall. It's basically Alola-themed already. Alola is the native home of this Pokemon, so why are some of you deciding to hang out in a tiny, dirty, muddy, shallow water puddle in the Savannah biome instead? Who did this to you? I mean, you probably deserved it, look at you. But still. Bruxish is based on the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a, which is not only the state fish of Hawaii, but is also a kind of trigger fish, who are known not only for their really cool colors and patterns, which Bruxish turns up to 11 into some psychedelic psychic type art, but also for their powerful teeth, which they use to crunch through the shells of urchins and mollusks completely. You know, like some of the Pokemon in the coastal biome, and that are not in the Savannah biome. Ah! But still, Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a inhabits the nice water around Hawaiian reefs, not dirty puddles. Okay, just join the others so I can stop looking at you. So hey, 5 out of the 235 Pokemon in the terrarium isn't bad. Oh wait, they're evolutions. 8 out of 235 ain't bad. That's what? Only 3.4042553191489% wrong? Good job, Game Freak. That's an A grade. But now, how about the rest of Paldea? And what about Galar? Here's those videos. Check them out before you wreck them out. And never stop using your noggin.